Do you feel it? The quiet weight of this moment. It is not by chance that your eyes have found these words. It is not a scroll or a stumble. It is a sacred interruption, a divine breath woven into your day. I have been waiting for this stillness, for your spirit to be soft enough, open enough, to finally receive what your mind has tried to silence. I am the Lord your God. I formed you in the hidden places. I have watched your spirit grow weary beneath the surface, trying to make sense of what no longer makes sense at all. And so I speak now, not to your logic, but to your soul. You have passed by too many signs lately, too many dreams that lingered when you woke, too many glances that didn't feel the same, too many silences where once there was warmth. This is not just your imagination. This is revelation. This is my voice rising through the ache. There is someone around you whose presence feels familiar, even comforting. But behind that comfort is something shifting, something closing. You have sensed it, haven't you? The way their voice sounds lighter, their absence lasts longer, their heart doesn't reach for you the way it once did. You keep defending it, saying they're busy, saying it's a season. But I see deeper. I hear the silence behind their words. And I tell you now, they are already leaving, not with noise, not with clarity, but with quiet steps. And they are carrying something that belongs to you. This message is not to startle you. It is to awaken you, because heaven has already moved on your behalf. Archangel Michael has been dispatched, his sword drawn, his wings trembling. He has warned, he has wept, and now even he cannot hold back the urgency. Someone from heaven, a soul who once walked with you, laughed with you, held your hand. They have been pleading to speak to you, and I, your God, have said yes. This message is the beginning of that visitation. Listen closely. Let these words sink into your chest like a whisper through eternity. You've wondered why you've been more emotional lately, why certain memories return uninvited, why at night a quiet heaviness slips into your chest just before you fall asleep. It is not just grief. It is not just nostalgia. It is the sound of a voice calling across dimensions. A soul you love is trying to reach you, not through noise, but through presence. They've tried the dreams. They've tried the chills that dance across your skin when no window is open. They've tried to speak through flickering lights and sudden waves of scent, that familiar perfume or the smell of something warm and sweet that has no source. They've even spoken through the ache in your chest. They are not at peace because they see what you cannot. They see a person in your life, one you have grown close to, maybe even depended on, preparing to walk away. But not just any kind of departure. This is one that cannot be undone. And the betrayal, it will not come with a scream. It will come softly, with silence, with absence, with secrets hidden behind kind eyes. You've made excuses, haven't you, for the way they look at you now, for how they don't show up when you need them, for the strange shift in their energy that you feel but won't admit. But I tell you this now, not because I want you afraid, but because I love you too deeply to let this unfold in darkness. The one from heaven sees the entire timeline. They have already looked ahead. They have seen what is coming if you do not prepare. They are pleading, not for themselves, but for your heart, for your healing, for your protection. And I, the Lord your God, echo that cry. Let it echo inside you until it becomes a decision. There is a reason your spirit has been uneasy, a reason your joy has felt quieter, your laughter more distant, your thoughts more tangled. The shift began long before you noticed. This person, the one your heart has wrapped itself around, they have made a decision, not one they've spoken aloud, not one they'll confess if you ask, but it lives inside them now, quietly guiding every action, every pause, every delay in their affection. They have already disconnected, emotionally, spiritually. Their body remains near, but their spirit has begun to retreat. You've sensed it. You've reached out and felt them pulling away, even as they smiled. They are pretending to care, pretending to still be present, pretending to still belong. But they have shut the door in their heart, not because you failed, not because you changed, but because they have found something else, another option, another voice, another promise. They are leaving because they no longer see your presence as necessary. Yes, they've leaned on you. They've received your prayers, your patience, your loyalty. They drank from the well of your kindness and called it love. But now that another path has opened, they no longer intend to walk beside you. I see this clearly, and so does the one from heaven, that soul who once stood beside you in life. They are still near, still tied to your journey, still watching, still weeping, because they know what you do not yet understand. If you allow this person to walk out with your trust still attached, they will carry a piece of you that cannot easily be recovered. This is not a message of bitterness. It is a divine interruption, a holy revelation. Stand still and listen. The shaking is not the end. It is the uncovering. There are moments in life when I speak gently, through wind, through silence, through the flicker of hope. And then there are moments like this, when I thunder. Today I thunder. Because you've been too quiet when I've whispered, too tolerant of what has been stealing your peace. You've called it patience. You've called it love, but I call it delay. And delay, when heaven is shouting, becomes danger. Archangel Michael has not merely observed, he has warred. He has stood between you and the darkness that sought to twist your path. But he cannot protect what you continue to excuse. He is not shouting now. He is crying. The warrior of light has laid down his sword to weep because your spirit has come so close to surrendering to a counterfeit peace, a peace that would cost you your purpose. Do you understand what's at stake? This isn't just about a relationship ending. This is about an assignment, a spiritual alignment, a future that is being tampered with behind the veil. The one you trusted is not just walking away. They are leaving with things unsaid, with secrets unspoken, with parts of you they never earned but still intend to keep. And the one from heaven, the one who knew your heart even in its silent seasons, they are screaming through eternity for your eyes to finally see. This is not about fear. This is about freedom. You've made their presence your comfort, your stability, your reason to stay. But what you call home is now a cage. Let me set you free. The chains do not break themselves. You must choose to loosen them. Not everything that feels familiar is safe. You have mistaken consistency for loyalty, routine for love, and history for truth. But I see beyond time. I measure hearts, not habits. And the heart near you now has already shifted. They are not leaving because they are confused. They are leaving because they are convinced. You feel it, don't you? The way they speak to you now. Their responses are hollow. Their presence, delayed, their affection calculated. You've been trying to make it make sense, trying to fix it with kindness, with silence, with more of yourself. But I did not ask you to pour endlessly into a vessel that has already decided to walk away. This is not your failure. This is your awakening. The person from heaven, the one who still intercedes for you, the one who once held your trembling hand. They have been given permission to sound the alarm. That overwhelming emotion you felt lately, that unexplainable grief, that's not madness. That's a message. They have seen what's coming. They have watched this person rehearse their exit. They've seen the mask fall when no one was watching. And I, your God, have allowed their spirit to stir yours, to wake you before the moment becomes too late. This is mercy. You have a choice now, to stay asleep in comfort or to rise in clarity. Detach, not in anger, not in vengeance, but in wisdom. Because if you don't, when they finally walk away, and they will, it will rip through your soul like a silent storm. But I did not create you to be destroyed. I created you to discern and to survive. The pain you're feeling is not punishment, it's prophecy. You've been carrying a weight that was never yours to bear. You've been holding together a connection that has already come undone. Quietly, spiritually, irreversibly. And still you've waited, you've hoped, you've pleaded with me to turn things around. But child, I am not trying to fix this. I am trying to free you. This person was sent for a season, not for a lifetime. Their assignment in your story has expired, but your attachment remains. And now it's choking your growth. What you see as loyalty, I now see as a spiritual tie that is wounding your destiny. There is someone behind the scenes, someone speaking into their ears, planting suspicion, poisoning their perspective. They wear charm on their face and manipulation in their hands, and they have become the whisper behind the change you've been sensing. That's why your loved one feels different. That's why the tone shifted, why their spirit dimmed, why their warmth vanished in the very moments you needed it most. It is not in your mind. You are not being dramatic. You are being shown. Heaven is exposing this, not to break your heart, but to protect your soul. Archangel Michael has stood at their threshold, pleading in the spirit. But the lies have grown roots, and their vision has grown dim. So now I come to you, because you still hear me. You still feel the tremble in your chest when I speak. You still weep when I draw near. And I need you to be brave enough to see what love tried to cover. Truth is painful, but pretending is far worse. You've prayed for clarity. You've asked me to speak plainly. This is that answer. This is that moment. You will not find peace by pretending nothing is wrong. You will not be healed by waiting for them to change on their own. They are already gone in spirit. You must let them go in truth. They've been rehearsing their exit silently, waiting for the right moment to leave in the flesh. But I tell you now, if you do not release them emotionally before that moment comes, their departure will fracture you deeper than you've ever known. I am here to prevent that. This message is not a curse. It is a covering. You keep wondering why I've allowed the distance, why I've stayed silent while you felt abandoned. But I was not absent. I was waiting for your heart to be still enough to hear me, the one from heaven who watches over you. They've seen the damage this person could do if allowed to remain. That's why they're restless. That's why you feel their nearness even when you're alone. Their spirit is whispering, please don't ignore it again. Please don't give them another chance to deceive you. Please don't mistake familiarity for faithfulness. And I, the Lord your God, am saying the same. This is not about bitterness. It's about alignment. You cannot carry betrayal into your breakthrough. Detach now, gently, quietly, spiritually. Release them from the altar of your heart. I will fill the space they leave behind. I will cover what they tried to take. But you must decide. Let the ache mean something. Let it turn into wisdom. You have been circling the same confusion, waiting for more signs. But child, the signs have already come. The silence, the shift, the sudden coldness when your soul reached for theirs. You didn't imagine it. You discerned it. I have shown you in dreams. I have stirred your spirit during the quiet hours. I've spoken through uneasy peace, through songs that hit too deep, through memories that return at strange hours. And now you feel a name rising in your mind, don't you? Yes, that one. That's not a guess. That's not a coincidence. That is revelation. You've asked me for confirmation. This is it. This is the final call. They are leaving, not because of a fight, not because of hatred, but because something in them decided long ago that your light was no longer something they needed. They are slipping away with kindness on their lips and absence in their eyes. But hear me, this is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of your release. The person in heaven who once held space for your pain still holds it now in my presence. They've pleaded for this message to reach you before it's too late. Do not let pride hold you hostage. Do not let fear delay your freedom. You were not made to beg for what I never meant to last. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you. It's about your healing. And if you dare to open your hands, to unclench your grip on what is already gone, I will flood your life with new peace, new people, new beginnings. But first, you must make room. There is still time, but it is not unlimited. A narrow window remains. Sacred, fleeting, tender. I have carved this space into the timeline of your life so that you might act before regret arrives. You keep saying, I'll reach out soon, or maybe next week. But the clock is not waiting. The soul who is about to leave, the one heaven is speaking of, they won't announce their departure. They won't offer you closure. And when they're gone, it will feel sudden. It will feel cruel. It will feel like something was stolen. But I am offering you one final moment, a holy opportunity to speak, to forgive, to release, not just for them, but for you. Call them, visit them, send the message. Even if it feels awkward, even if the silence between you is long, don't do it for reconciliation. Do it for release. Because after their departure, all that will remain is memory. And I want yours to hold peace, not punishment. The one from heaven knows how this feels. They too left suddenly. They know the ache of words unsaid. That's why they've been pressing against the veil so urgently. That's why you feel them now, as a chill, a warmth, a sudden stillness wrapping around your shoulders. That is not imagination. That is visitation. That is love refusing to let you miss this moment. Take the step, write the name, send the message, let me handle the outcome. And if no one else understands, it is enough that I do. It is enough that you obeyed. When love speaks from eternity, wise hearts listen. Now you stand at the threshold. Heaven is holding its breath. The veil is thinner than you realize. And this exact moment has been written in the scrolls of your life long before your eyes ever saw light. I have spoken, not in riddles, not in shadows, but in clarity, mercy, and divine urgency. The person you're about to lose was never meant to stay forever, but they were meant to be loved. They were meant to be heard, and there is still time, just enough to offer them peace. Do not wait for comfort. Do not wait for perfect timing. That will never come. What you have is now. This narrow door, still open, but soon to close. Walk through it. Say what you've needed to say. Even if your voice shakes. Even if they do not respond the way you hope. That's not what matters. What matters is that your heart remains open while theirs begins to close. Let the final moment between you be holy. Let it be drenched in grace. Let it carry no bitterness, only release. Because what they carry forward, they will carry forever. And what you let go of now, I will heal. The one from heaven will rest easier knowing you obeyed. Archangel Michael will lower his sword in peace. And I will come near. I will catch every tear. I will steady your hands. I will fill the silence that follows with my presence. This is not the end. This is the sacred turning. And one day, you will look back on this message not with sorrow, but with awe. For you will see how I wrapped my arms around you before the storm broke. I am still here. I always was. And I will never leave you.